Well, I think every piece that I've ever made is always somehow rooted in my own truth. And I think in examining a certain part of my life, when I lived in a place called Homestead, which is like 50 miles south of Miami, I want to talk about a moment when I was deciding when I had to make decisions of what my life would be. And that's weird to be making at 13 or 12. That's weird for, a 12-year-old to be thinking that they had to make these life altering decisions right then. And it dawned on me that that wasn't just happening to me. That was happening to many people. And then I had friends and colleagues in life who would just say, yeah, I had to, decide what high school I wanted to go to or what profession I wanted to be. And then I had other friends in other places who had more access who said, oh, nah, I didn't really figure it out until I was 23. And so it was just really important to me to look at how in the Black community, especially Black community in poverty, we had to really figure things out early or not. As one of the characters in the piece says, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And so that's what the piece is about. It really is about examining that moment when a young person is pressurized to make those kind of forever decisions. Well, first of all, we had a magnificent casting director in Carmen Cuba. She just really found us some of the best people that I've ever seen. And then I think she did that by casting the net really wide. We got calls in. We got a call in from Calii on the internet. Somebody sent in a piece that he just done, and it was really thrilling to see just how much talent is out there and waiting for moments like this. And then when Calii walked in the room, we sort of had no other questions about that. He sort of came in and owned the space.
Terrell is an amazing writer, and
thanks.
Just reading it, you could just tell it was gonna be something special, just off the words off the paper. And I was just really putting my heart and soul into it to bring it to life. Coming to work today, being prepared, and also knowing that it's bigger than just me, Terrell, and our cast and people who help us. It's like the kids who don't get to speak out, who don't feel like they can't tell nobody because people don't relate to them. That's what really pushed me, because we're really making a difference. It's more than just a TV show.
Yeah. And I think in that same vein, we artistically, when I talked to directors, we had conversations about, that this should feel cinematic, that this should feel like the scale of cinema in terms of the story we were telling. The emotions are both, large and intimate at the same time, and that was important in that dialogue. And I think our directors, all four of them, were amazing. And really leaped at that. And another thing I think that happened was we just had a great rapport. Calii would kind of come up and say, hey, I'm having trouble here, or I want to run these lines, or I want to talk about this. And I would end up just asking more questions than answering, actually. But I think it's important, because at the end of the day, I am not a 14-year-old kid anymore. I'm twice that, in some places 3 times, you know what I mean? And so for the young people in our cast to be able to say, hey, this doesn't feel right, or it feels like this. Can I change this? Can I augment this? Can I put my full self in it? Was easy, because that's what we hired them for, to bring their full self to the experience. Before I rhapsodize about our collective artistic missions, because I don't want to see MBJ in the street. He's like, I didn't say that. And we're like, yeah. He's a boxer, so I don't get mashed up. I think, again, one of the things about working with MBJ is that he's hella collaborative, but more than anything, he's passionate. He's passionate about making room for others, which you don't find in an executive producer all the time. You don't find executive producers who are that eager to do that. And then you run into one of the first places he said we needed to go to when he wanted to pitch the show was OWN. And he sat next to me as we pitched that OWN in front of Oprah. And again, you don't really know what you're bringing to folk until they tell you. But Oprah was already halfway down the road on doing a series about trauma, about childhood trauma, how it affects young people in their actual physical bodies, how it affects their health and their lifelong living. And all of the themes that I was bringing up in terms of David Makes Man were the themes that she was acutely working on already. And that was, and again, that moment of synergy, we just knew that we had to be at home. We knew that we were in the right place.
Yeah.
They were looking for a way to activate the artistic mission in that way, and we were there ready to do it. You know, in film, I think it's such a director's medium that I spend a lot of time, you know, talking to the director and seeing what they do. In TV, and I mean, you know, as Felicia will say, Felicia Rashad, who's in our show, she talks about often how a lot of television, especially in her early work, came from theater makers. And so it still has that footprint. I mean, it still has that kind of writer, actor, director, collaborative experience that I think, you know, makes it a really incredible art form.